What's up, Yankee Nation? What is up? This is Donald from the Pinstripe Chronicles, bringing to you Game 1 reaction pod. I thought it was an opportunity to talk about the Cortes decision, Big G's home run, Aaron Boone's management of the bullpen, questionable calls. Heck of a World Series Game 1, though, boy. That was a classic. That was a true classic. And the big question is this a must-win game tonight? You're probably at that point. So everybody, hop on, say hello in the chat. Let's get the conversation going. Looking forward to talking to everybody. What is up, Damien? Boone choked. Boone choked. What is up? What is up, Damien? How are you, man? How are you holding up after that? It was a must-win. It really was. I think it is. I think it is, man. I think we're at that stage. But it's still a road game. And I don't know what kind of home field advantage truly exists with these two teams because the Yankees aren't the best at home, but they're really good on the road. So, it's going to be interesting. So, everybody, hit the like button, hit the sub button. Let's talk about last night. Can't believe that ending. A walk-off grand slam, guys. Wow. What a freaking game. So, I want to start with the first thing first. What was up with taking Garrett Cole out after 88 pitches? I didn't get that. I felt like a lack of trust to your ace. Like, how many teams have a Garrett Cole? How many teams have an actual reigning Cy Young in their team? That's someone that you want. That's someone that you want to go to war with, in my opinion. My humble opinion. I want Garrett Cole to get that at least one more batter out in that situation, because I felt that once you took Cole out and then you put Clay Holmes in that spot, and then Clay Holmes inevitably becomes Clay Holmes and does what he always does, then you're almost pushing your bullpen up an inning further, than you originally planned. And so once we got into that 10th inning, it was almost like we ran out of ideas. That's what it felt like to me. I just didn't feel like there was a plan. It almost looked like Aaron Boone kind of panicked in that spot. And I know he's never managed a World Series game, but I felt like he panicked in a situation that didn't necessarily need to be panicked about. I mean, if you're going to panic about a Garrett Cole going 6 innings of one-run ball and you've got a 2-1 lead, I mean, what are you panicking about? That's the ideal situation. That's what you dream about. Like, you dream about your Cy Young pitcher giving you 6 quality innings, and you've got your star man Stanton giving you a home run to give you the lead. I mean, that's the dream situation. But Aaron Boone kind of panicked. I don't know why he's so hot on the trigger. Why is he so hot on the trigger to put Clay Holmes in that spot? Why? Because there's a runner at first. Do you guys know the stat that Clay Holmes allows 33% of all inherited runners? I mean, you're playing with fire there, man. That's like Russian roulette. Why are you playing Russian roulette to take Garrett Cole out when you could have just Garrett Cole? Now, I would have loved Garrett Cole to maybe have fought a little more, be a bit of Mike Mussina, you know what I mean? Like, you sit the fuck down. You sit the fuck down. I got this. We probably wanted that from GC. But yeah, I thought that was a weird call just to start with. And it almost set everything in motion. And we got to where we got, and it wasn't good. Now we got the chat starting to flood up. Let's see what everyone's got to say here. We wasted Cole. Exactly. And that's another worry. Like, how many times are you going to get like a phenomenal start and waste it and lose, and you're going to get away with it? It's not a great precedent. Well, what has my man Trinidad got to say? It just ended me, man. I know. Brad says, Boone didn't learn from the Trevino for Cole mistake from 2 years ago. That's a great point. It kind of gave me similarities. So, I mean, it's not even like Monday morning quarterback at the time when I was doing a live stream with Alex and Luca on the Big Blue in the Bronx channel last night. At that time, I said, "Oh no, why are you taking Cole out?" And for Clay Holmes, I was like, "Oh God." It's like it's almost like they never learn. Um, yeah, we're gonna get into the Cortes decision. I'm just gonna start with the Garrett Cole stuff first of all. Everything I said I wanted to happen happened, and we still somehow lost. That's a freaking winner of a fucking point there, my man. That's exactly how I felt, and that's kind of my point. It's like, why did Boone panic in a situation where, I mean, that's kind of the dream scenario for a manager. In Game One of the World Series, your ace gives you 6 innings, 1 run. You got a 2-1 lead. Your star guy hits another home run to continue his historic run. Big G. I mean, everything should be positive, but that one base runner that he allowed, he panicked. It was weird. Honestly, Judge followed by our defense is the reason we lost this game. Yeah, we're going to talk about Aaron Judge. Like, where is he at this point? Like, what's going on with Aaron Judge? So, everyone in the chat, give me your thoughts on what's going on with our captain. Freeman 600 plus batting average with the bases loaded. Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a minute too. There's so much to break down. Javier, what's going up? What's going on, Javier? Rodon needs to pitch his ass off tonight. Amen to that. You always ride or die with your ace. Yeah, that's a great point too. Salute to you. Trinidad, we didn't waste Cole. We wanted to force them to use the bullpen early, and we did that. We made a mistake at the end. What's D Train got to say here? Today's pitching matchup does not favor us today. I can easily see Rodon getting lit up tonight. Oh, don't put that in the stratosphere. What's Roy got to say? This will be interesting as a Dodgers fan perspective. Dodger fan for life. Like I said, the unexpected will happen. It's only one game, but what a game one. Flaherty pitched a heck of a game. Stay up the coals. See you guys tonight. Salute to you, Roy. I know you must be happy. I mean, yeah. Let's just talk about. First of all, let's start with. I need to get this out of the way. First of all, what a hell of a game one. I mean, that's a classic. That is as classic as it's gonna get. It was insane. It was like absolute fireworks. It was some crazy moments. It was up and down. There was some great plays. There was some crazy mistakes, and then there was some crazy manager calls, and then there's some clutch moments and phenomenal skyscraping home runs. It had everything. It really did, and it had a walk-off freaking grand slam. I mean, that's insane. So, I mean, if you're MLB, you must be delighted because this product is exactly why base friends love this freaking sport because it is so freaking amazing. Like October baseball is on another level. It really is. And so you got the two best teams in baseball, the two most star-studded teams in baseball, just giving it everything they got. I love that. So let's see what else we got here. Javier. Judge needs to wake up because I don't want the Yankees to come here to the Bronx down 2-0 in this series. Yeah, exactly, man. Aaron Judge. I wonder what's going on with Aaron Judge. I mean, does everyone in the chat have an idea what's going on with Aaron Judge? Because, I mean, for me, it doesn't feel like it's natural with him coming up in the plate in a big spot. It looks like it's the moment's getting to him. Whereas the moment just seems to thrive with Juan Soto and with Giancarlo Stanton. It feels like they thrive in that spot. You know what I'm saying? Like when Big G marches up to the plate, you almost feel like he's going to hit a home run every single at bat in October. He just has that air about him, you know? He's just like that bad man. He's just like that, a serious freaking hombre. That's the vibe that Big G brings when he goes to the plate, you know? And Soto, I just feel like he's indestructible at the plate. Like he's constantly learning about the pitcher, downloading information at a freaking million miles an hour. So he knows exactly what's coming. Like he's a freaking amazing freaking player, man. And it's the opposite with Aaron Judge. Like he just looks like the whole city's on his shoulders. Like he's wanting desperately to succeed. but the swing isn't coming natural to him. It's elongated and it's late. It's almost like he's trying to do too much. Whereas Soto's got a very simple approach. Stanton's got a very simple approach. And it works because I think they've got a better mentality. They've got a much better October mentality. But anyone who wants to prove me wrong, then go for it. Well, let's see what Damien's got to say. Judge hit 62. It's not the pressure. He's so in between and not sticking to his basics. What got him here? Yeah, I mean, the regular season's one thing, though. I'm talking about October because it is real that he has some real problems in October. I just don't know how much he loves the big frickin' moment, you know? That's just always something that kind of concerns me with him. But you're spot on about the fact he's not sticking to basics and what got him here. Exactly. He needs to simplify his approach. I think his swing is too big and it's a little late because he's missing pitches that normally he deposits 450 feet. So that's a big concern. And another big concern, and this is a massive concern, if they're going to pitch around Juan Soto to pitch to Aaron Judge has to step up. He absolutely has to step up, or we are toast in this World Series. He has to step up. So it can all change tonight. What Brad's got to say here, Judge needs to see the ball, hit the ball, shut everything else out. That's a good point. Very good point. That's it. He needs to simplify his approach. I really do believe that. I think that would really help him. And the great thing is, it can all change tonight. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't know that in a couple hours from now, Aaron Judge steps up and hits a 3-run freaking home run, and everyone's like, that's our captain. D-Train, Judge has been this way for the last 3 postseasons. Sadly, he kind of shrinks in big spots. Yeah, I can't disagree, D-Train. Very good comment, man. I think that's it. I don't think he loves the big moment. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's certain players that thrive in October in the most important spots. And there's some guys that kind of shirk away from it. And at the moment, he kind of shirks away from it. It just looks like it's a little too big for him. I'm not questioning his ability by any stretch of the imagination. He's arguably the best player in baseball. Certainly the best hitter I've seen in the modern generation. But that's the regular season. October's a different animal. And for me, Stanton clears him by a mile in the playoffs. And it's not close. And Soto, exactly, same. Both clear them because they have a much better approach. And I'm not criticizing Aaron Judge as a player. I'm criticizing maybe his mentality in October. And, another thing, in these post-match interviews, could he maybe lay off the smirks a little bit? I mean, it's a very icky, small thing that I'm complaining about. But after you lose in a World Series game, I don't really want to see him smirking, I know he's Mr. Cool, Calm, and Collected and chill and all that stuff, but, maybe show a little bit more urgency. It just feels it would feel a little better. You know what I'm saying? But it's a very minor thing. I think really what he needs to do is just focus on simplifying his approach. I think he's probably looking around going, you know what? Torres is balling. Soto's balling. Stanton's balling. And I'm letting guys down. And it's probably weighing on him, because he's a captain and he's a leader. He's really the leader of this ship. And so it'll be bothering him that he can't be doing what he's done all the regular season. I mean, the guy's had like 200 home runs in about 3 seasons. So I was like, it's obviously bothering him. So he wants to be the same player in October as he is in the regular season. He's just not that right now. And that is what the Dodgers are playing on. Roberts is just going to continue this, man. You saw it yesterday. He pitched around Soto to pitch to Aaron Judge because Judge at the moment is the easier matchup. That's crazy. So anyone else in the chat, hit the like button and give us your suggestions on what Aaron Judge should do to try and simplify this, his approach in October. And in the meantime, let's talk about Big Frickin' G. Oh my God, Big G, man. Put him in Monument Park. Could we please put him in Monument Park for this October alone? I don't want to hear anyone complain about Giancarlo Stanton ever again. I don't want to hear about injuries. I don't want to hear about missing some games in the regular season. Don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about the fact that his lower half ain't so strong and he can't run too much anymore. Don't care. I don't want to hear about the fact he can't play left field or right field for that matter. No, don't care. Because in October, he is absolutely freaking insane. He's freaking Babe Ruth. He's Barry Bonds and Mickey Mantle all freaking put together in October, and it's absolutely insane. He stands on business and he delivers. It's freaking unbelievable, man. And you could tell that the Dodgers are freaking terrified of pitching to him because he swung badly at 2 pitches. He was down 0-2, right? But they still weren't comfortable in that spot. This is in this home run at bat. So they tried to climb the ladder with a pitch about 10 feet above the strike zone. That's because they don't trust that anything near the strike zone that Stanton won't absolutely demolish. So they tried to put an off-speed inside on him, and Stanton was right there on it. And he somehow managed to hit it 118 miles an hour, 415 feet. That guy is unbelievable. So I love that. It's an amazing at-bat from Big G. And that was a moment. And to be honest, that should have been the thing that, as Yankee fans, we should be talking about today. That should be the moment. But it wasn't. And there was a whole host of reasons why. Right. What's Chris Dudley got to say here? Blaming one player just says the team as a unit is weak. Yeah, I'm not blaming one player at all. I don't know if that's what you're insinuating. I'm definitely not blaming Aaron Judge. I'm saying that he needs to improve his approach at the plate and he needs to step up. But he wasn't the reason really why we lost. He was a part of it. But I think the reason why we lost, a lot of it comes down to Aaron Boone's bullpen management. That's what I believe. What's AOG 34 got to say? Salute to you. This feels like we blew it last night. It does. Donald, I am the most rational, optimistic fan. Love to hear that. Judge is in that rut and pressure I've seen so many times in sport. Exactly. Sometimes it's psychological. Sometimes you can't figure it out. That, you could be the greatest player ever in the regular season, but in October, you're not quite that, and then vice versa. I want him to break out of this, but our fan base and expectations. Well, yeah, I mean, there are expectations here because a lot of us don't really care about the regular season. It's all about October. So, but that was more so the case in the 90s and in our dynasty run, But now I think it's a little bit more even keeled because, this is the first time we've been to a World Series in about 15 years. So with that in mind, we still are all very much behind Aaron Judge, but he does need to up this a little bit. It's literally LeBron pre-2012. That's interesting. That is interesting. But LeBron still had his moments, and he still won championships. So maybe Aaron Judge is due that. And it could very well be this year. And it could very well start tonight. So no one's counting him out. But he does need to simplify his approach. He does need to simplify his mentality. I think he needs to just chill a little bit. And what he could really do was sit and talking to A-Rod. I know it sounds crazy, but honestly, I think he would benefit from sitting talking to A-Rod because A-Rod was in exactly the same spot as Aaron Judge pre-2009. Pre-2009, A-Rod couldn't hit the side of a barn. He couldn't in October. While he was winning MVPs and hitting 50 home runs every single season, once we got into the postseason, it got to him. And Joe Torre ended up batting him 8th. Because he felt like he needed to prove something to us, and it was in his head. And I know that A-Rod's talked about this openly, but once he got to 2009, he was a lot more relaxed within himself, and he balled. And now he's immortal. And now I won't have anyone say anything bad about my A-Rod, because that dude balled. And he was the reason why we won the World Series in 09. You know what I'm saying? So, if anything, Judge could learn from Alex Rodriguez. I really do. A-Rod's a baseball savant. He knows the game inside out. And he's a Yankee fan, so I know that he'd love to sit and talk to Aaron Judge. I don't want Aaron Judge to be above anybody. No one's above learning. You know, even if you're the best player in the sport, you can always learn that little bit more. So I think he'd benefit from talking to from A-Rod about an approach in the playoffs, because they're very similar. And in terms of leadership, sit down with the captain, the real captain, Derek Jeter, who was not very impressed with Aaron Boone. And I must say, I think we can all say that as an absolute categorical fact that Derek Jeter was not impressed by Aaron Boone's management of that bullpen. And we're going to get into that in a minute. Let's have a look and see what else we got in the chat. Got Jared hopping on. What's going on? That was a gut-wrenching loss. AOG 34, that's what I'm banking on. He is literally pressing and changed his approach this month when all he has to do is simplify. Yep, make contact and play and put the ball in play. Exactly. Brad, A-Rod's fix was Kate Hudson in 2009. We all love Kate Hudson. I agree. You should have stuck with Kate Hudson, Brad. It was once he went to Madonna that things started to go awry for him. Stanton is showing he's the Bash brother. Let him be feast or famine. Yeah, I mean, it's not really too much famine with Giancarlo Stanton. He's all feast. What's Tree Hugger got to say? Tree Hugger looks like he is late on pitches, in my opinion. That's a good take. That's exactly right, because in that key at bat, I believe in the ninth inning, there was a big opportunity for him to win the game, and he missed two pitches in that at bat that he would normally deposit 450 feet because he was late on it. There was a hanging pitch that he got under and fouled, which he absolutely should have raked to the moon. And he missed like a 94-mile-an-hour pitch that, again, he was late on. It looks like he's late. That's a good point. That's what I'm saying. I think his swing is a little elongated, and I think he's trying to hit a home run instead of simplify his approach and aim to make excellent contact. With his power and with his natural ability, the ball's going to go out of the yard anyway. Simplify that approach. You can almost honestly learn from Soto. Soto will take whatever that pitcher's giving him. If it'll help the Yankees in any situation, Soto will do it. If it means a walk, he'll do it. If it means an RBI single with a runner at second base, he'll do it. If it means a freaking 3-run home run, he'll go freaking do it. Just look at that last series. That's a baller in the playoffs, man. That's someone that you want in the biggest spots. Aaron Judge is not someone I want in a big spot. He just never has been because he doesn't do that. So prove me wrong, Aaron. I want you to, man. I got two fucking bobbleheads of you over here in my fucking bedroom. So I want you to go and prove me wrong. Ohtani could go flat as Judge and the Dodgers would still be monsters. Yeah, that Dodger lineup is frightening. There are no easy outs in that Dodger lineup. D-Train, he is missing on 94 miles an hour fastball, man. In the regular season, he would have crushed that into the seats. Exactly my point, man. It's exactly it. Donald, exactly. That's what's mind-boggling. All Judge has to do is make contact and build momentum. Remember 09, A-Rod wasn't all home run. He wasn't striking out a lot. Exactly. What is up, Stevie B? Good to see you joined. What's Rhett got to say? Rodon is getting his shit rocked today. Damn. I don't know if you're a Yankee or a Dodger fan, but I mean, I hope he doesn't get his shit rocked. What is up, everyone in the chat? We've got a lively chat here. So for those that are new, hit that sub button. And for those that are enjoying the content, let us know. Hit that like and sub button. Let's get those likes up. We got FJ in the chat. FJ, how are you holding up after last night, my guy? How are you holding up? So, yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room. What CBB got to say here? I'm doing yard work and be listening. Freaking leaves fall faster than it's raining. Dude, good for you, man. Get that work in there. Rag, I'm a Dodger fan. Dodgers got good numbers against Rodon. Yeah, they do. Dude, the Dodgers are freaking amazing, man. It doesn't matter who we. There's not a pitcher that we'd send out there that I'm confident that's 100% gonna completely destroy them because they're freaking an awesome team, man. Like, no disrespect here. Like that lineup is insane, you know. And that's what happens in the 10th inning, and you run out of pitchers to send out there. You got to bring out Nestor Cortes with his 92-mile-an-hour fastball and expect him to get both Otani and Freddie Freeman out. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. But if we talk in real baseball, we lost because Jack unexpectedly matched Cole's great performance. I'm not surprised that Jack matched Garrett Cole's performance. I like Jack Flaherty. I do. And by the way, how's that back holding up? Because that was apparently one of the reasons why Brian Cashman didn't go and get Jack Flaherty was because of his bulky back. Oh, his back looked pretty damn good last night. And that's for the Dodgers' benefit. He's a good pitcher, man. Great pitcher. His curveball was particularly cooking last night. He was cooking the Yankees. Apart from Big G and a couple of good swings from Torres and Soto, but in general, he was cooking the Yankees. One thing I'll say, Hill was a move, not Nestor. Nestor shouldn't have been put in that situation. Cole should have been left in longer. Like Jeter said, it was a trickle down effect, and that's exactly what I agree with. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about now. Because let's face it, it's the elephant in the room. It is the absolute elephant in the room. How the hell did Aaron Boone go to Clay Holmes in that spot? I freaking hated that move. I absolutely hated that move at the time. I didn't get it. I thought it was a mistake at the time. I didn't like it. I thought this was going to be a mistake that we're going to regret. So let's listen to what the real captain of the Yankees has got to say about this move because crazy. It was a crazy decision. Let's go. Domino effect. And that's exactly what Jeter was saying. It's a trickle down effect. You take Garrett Cole out after 88 pitches, it's a trickle down effect. So I hated that move at the time. I really did. I didn't think Clay Holmes was the right call in that spot because Clay Holmes is really unpredictable. In fact, he is predictable. In fact, in October, he's predictably bad. So I thought that was a mistake. And then they started. You had to panic and bring in Canely. Canely's changeup worked to an extent, but then it was a problem against Otani because Otani sits changeup. So then you panic a little bit, and then you move up Cousins, uh, and then now you had to go with Nestor Cortes. And the biggest mistake about this whole Nestor Cortes decision was the fact he hadn't pitched in September 18th. I mean, I don't care that he was pitching good in bullpen sessions. I'm not interested. I don't care what he was doing in practice. It doesn't matter because you know what matters? Uh, Actual baseball. And he hadn't pitched in September 18th. So you're asking him to come in that spot and not only get the most feared hitter in baseball, Otani, out, but then with the bases loaded, pitch to Freddie Freeman? who has a 600 batting average with the bases loaded. What on earth was that decision? What did you think was going to happen? And you've got Hill sitting there. He's the guy to go to in that spot. Hill's numbers are really, really good this year, and I'm not quite sure what indeed the rationale was to avoid Tim Hill in that spot. Tim Hill has a 2.05 ERA with the Yankees. He didn't give up a home run versus a lefty all year. In 121 at-bats, he hadn't given up a home run versus a lefty. He's only given up one earned run in the last 10 and two-third postseason innings. That was the move. Salute to at Yankee source for that info. But that was the move. That was the move you go to. Tim Hill had a 2.05 ERA, right? He didn't allow home runs to lefty. That is the move that you go to. That was a weird-ass decision. It really was. And I'm sorry. I don't trust Nestor Cortes in high-leverage spots out of the bullpen because what you really need is a plus fastball and a plus breaking pitch. And Nestor doesn't have any of that. He's got a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. So that was mind-blowing to me. AOG 34. And what really got me triggered this morning, who's been our best ground ball pitcher this entire 2024 season, Tim Hill. Yeah, I don't know why they ignored Tim Hill. If there was a situation that maybe you'd want Tim Hill to come in, I would have said you could have put him in earlier, when the runner at first base. Like if you had to take out Garrett Cole, maybe Tim Hill was the move because you could have gotten some length out of him. Clay Holmes is frightening. I saw his face walking to the mound. He was like, "Oh fuck, I'm screwed," and every pitch was a disaster. So they had to rush and take him out. I don't know what they're seeing with this guy. That's Cashman and Boone looking at a sheet of paper instead of what we've seen with our eyes. I mean, that is a good point. Obviously, Nestor has good numbers comparatively against Ohtani, and I didn't hate that matchup, oddly. I actually could have envisaged him maybe hitting a pop-up, Nestor Cortes, forcing Ohtani into a pop-up in that spot. I didn't hate that, but if it was a situational, then I get it. But we don't have situational relievers anymore. He has to go three batters. And I just don't trust Nestor Cortes to go three batters, not against those guys. I thought that you put Nestor Cortes in a situation where it's a clean inning in the 11th inning and you want to get some length. Otherwise, that's not the call, man. I don't want to see Freddie Freeman against Nestor Cortes under any circumstances. So, yeah, Chris, I get it. Ohtani, 166 against Cortes, 266 against Hill. I know they were just looking at the stats, but sometimes you got to go with beyond that. And also the stats back up Hill as well in many ways. But sometimes you got to go with feel. Do you think Nestor Cortes is going to go three batters? Do you think he's really going to get Ohtani and Freddie Freeman out without giving up a run? The chances are remote because he's not a high leverage reliever. He just doesn't have the stuff for that. That whole dinky dunk kind of off speed kind of stuff. Yeah, I think it works as a starter to keep guys off balance, but he just doesn't have the high leverage stuff to get a guy like a Freddie Freeman out. Nestor is not a lefty specialist. His job on the roster is to eat innings if needed. And that's exactly what my point is in FG. I completely agree. If there's a spot for Nestor Cortes, it's the 11th inning. Clean inning. You want to get him to see if he can eat a couple of innings, then I get it. But I just felt that Tim Hill in that spot was the one you go to try and close that situation out. That made That was a call to make. Um, and if you're being a revisionist and you were going revisionist history, you could have maybe said, what if they allowed Garrett Cole to get through that seventh inning, or at least a couple of get through a couple of batters in that seventh inning. Um, and then once you get to a situation where the 10th inning, you actually still have a high leverage arm like a Cousins available or a Canely to get the final three outs needed. Just feels like a missed opportunity. And it came back to bite us. Whoever made the pitch call messed up. Low inside is Freddie's dream date. That is a great point, Chris. But to be honest, and this was my rationale at the time, where I completely disagreed with it and I was worried about it. Um, when you load the bases with Cortes facing Freddie Freeman, there is no margin for error. If he goes behind in the count, he's in big trouble. So he tried to get me over pitch. He tried to get me over fastball to establish the count. But his fastball is 92 mile an hour. That's not what you want to do. And he left it over the plate, and bang, bingo, game over. Freddie Freeman was sitting on it because he knew exactly what was going to come, and I knew it was going to come, and it was kind of obvious. I think Nestor Cortes wanted to get ahead in the count, tried to groove a fastball, and bang, it's gone. He thought Freddie was going to spit on the first pitch, and I knew he wasn't. Freddie Freeman, you got to hand it to him, man. He was sitting fastball. He was waiting for it. He was like, give me a fastball. Come on. Bingo. And that was a freaking nuke that he hit, man. I mean, that's going to Cuba. That was a freaking shot. So salute to Freddie Freeman in the biggest spot, man. So Dodger fans must be absolutely over the moon because that was as clutch gets. And Nestor Cortes really was the anti-clutch. But, I mean, it's hard to completely blame him because I don't think this is a situation that you really want Nestor Cortes in. I don't think you put Nestor Cortes in the best position to succeed. You want him to come in a clean inning. And it was a weird call. I was very frustrating, man. It really was. And there's also been a lot of blowback about this call, actually. People are not too freaking pleased with Aaron Boone, right? And there's actually an article on the New York Post by John Heyman that there was a bunch of scouts that really hated this call from Aaron Boone. So here's one scout. He hasn't pitched in over a month, a scout said incredulously. You can't throw someone in there who A, hadn't pitched in 5 weeks, and B, is a starting pitcher without a high velocity fastball. It's exactly what I just said. That's exactly what a scout said. He is without a high velo fastball. So that was the big problem for me. If you're going to try and get me over fastball, you need to have a better fastball than a 92 mile an hour. Get me over one. Now, obviously the clubhouse took it fairly well, but man, I would be pissed because I thought the guys really played incredibly hard. So I thought that was a shocking gamble to make, and it really wasn't worth it. Tim Hill's dominated in October. He's just allowed one run in 5 2/3 innings. That's exactly what you want in that spot. Now you could obviously be extra critical and say, you know what, it's on Brian Cashman because he didn't give Aaron Boone a great left-handed reliever. Boone doesn't have a Josh Hader, a proper shutdown lefty to take down the two toughest left-handed hitters in baseball. We don't have that. But Tim Hill's done a good job, and that's probably the best of a mediocre bunch that we have, Tim Hill. So I think you play the odds, and I think that was the better call to make. So it's going to be tough to rebound from that because that is a gut punch. That loss is a gut punch. Jared Williams, Cousins walking Lux changed the inning. It did. It did. I can't argue that. Again, you could even say maybe trust Cousins to get out of that spot. Excuse me, because Cousins got that insane slider. I love that slider. It's impossible to read. AOG, this is why I don't like him on Matt Blake, are pitchers who actually got the stuff. He tells them to pitch around and nibble. Why in good hell is Jake Cousins pitching around Lux? Yeah, it's a great point. Oh, Mad Dog just proclaimed Soto as the worst right fielder in baseball. I will be calm. I will be calm on this podcast. He might not be the best right fielder in baseball. I'm not saying that he is, but he's by far not the second worst or the worst. Not even close. But Soto owned up to it, and he did misread that ball out of the bat. Now, statistically, there was a 5% chance that Soto would have made that catch. This is the one that I'm talking about that went for a triple. There was a 5% chance that Soto was going to make that catch. You always learn, even from kindergarten, to take a circular route so that if the ball drops, then you're right behind it, and then you can make the play and not allow that runner to advance. Because that extra runner, that extra base from that runner was not good. It wasn't good. But I'm sorry, I ain't blaming Soto. I mean, I'm sorry, you're just picking things if you're looking to blame Soto. I mean, without Soto and Stanton, this Yankee team ain't even dreaming about a World Series. Without Soto and Stanton, this team lose to the Royals. That's just the fact. So I'm sorry. I can live with a couple of misplays and right. You know, I can. I can live with it. What is up, Luca? Now I believe Luca is going to watch the game tonight with his buddy in the town in New York. Salute to Luca. What's John the Beagle Dad got to say? What is up, John the Beagle Dad? Yo yo, how's your beagles, Jared? So yeah, let's get back to where we were with that Soto decision. I can't believe Mad Dog's even saying that. I mean, do I think he's probably a Gold Glove contender right field? No, I don't think he is. I think he's an average right fielder. I don't think he's any worse than average. He's made some nice plays. He's made a couple of misplays. But when you also combine it with the fact he's as clutch as anyone in the game, he's an absolute baller. He's the freaking king of the fucking city, and he carries his team on his back. And he has got that mentality and the balls to put this team to where it should be in a World Series. Then I can live with some misplays in right field. But yeah, if you're being critical, as I said, there was a 95% chance he wasn't making that catch. So don't go straight for it. That's what he tried to do. He torpedoed straight for it and hoped that he was going to make a sensational grab where he only had a 5% grab of doing it. That was the stats. I read the stats. 5% chance. That's not what you do. That was a mistake. He should have. But I know what he was trying to do. And you can't blame him for trying to make a great play. Just didn't happen. So my beef is not with Soto. Soto had a very solid World Series. But we need a little more from him if the Dodgers even pitched him. And why would you if you're Roberts, right? So, yeah, let's get Soto out of the way. I ain't worried about him. I do want to give a shout out to Verdugo for his play in left field. I know he made a misplay at the start, but he more than made up for it by a diving catch, and then that play in the ninth inning where he jumped into the stands. No, 10th inning, he jumped into the stands and made an amazing freaking catch. Jumping into the stands, that should have been the story. When he jumped in the stands and made that phenomenal catch, that should have been the story. But that's what's amazing about this game. There's so many things to break down. There were so many aspects. Remember Tommy Edmonds' defense. Tommy Edmonds saved a couple of runs for the Dodgers, so salute to him. If you're a Dodger fan, salute to him. He was freaking amazing. Made a couple of great plays, diving plays. You could be extra critical of Oswaldo Cabrera for over diving and letting the ball get under him to put the Yankees in a tough spot that they couldn't get out of. You know, that was the defense wasn't great from the Yankees. I didn't think there was some great plays from Dugo and a couple of decent grabs from Jazz, but the defense in general wasn't great. They had Gleyber Torres making that. Oh, what Gleyber Torres was doing when it was like Chuck Knobloch when he let that ball drop and he was looking around. Uh, uh, where is it? Where are we? Ball's right under you, bro. Go get it. So that was frustrating too. But that was all part and parcel of this classic game, and it was a classic, absolute classic. Uh, FJ, great point. Let's get into that. Jazz stealing 2 bases could have been the Yankee hero. That's the thing. And that's what's so annoying is that Aaron Boone changed what the narrative should have been. The narrative should have been Big G's iconic home run. And it was iconic. Garrett Cole's baller start. That should have been the conversation. Verdugo diving into the stands. That should have been the conversation. Jazz Chisholm stealing every base he possibly could to score a run, to put the Yankees ahead. Great call. Great point, FJ. He saw that no one was covering third, and he took it. Heads up base running. It reminded me of Johnny Damon in the 2009 World Series. Heads up. No one was covering third. Take that extra base. And so Jazz deserves a ton of credit, man. I've been critical of the way Jazz has performed in the postseason, but he had a really good Game 1 of the World Series. He's looking like he could be a threat. I don't trust the Dodger catcher to throw him out. I think Jazz can, if he gets on, I think he can run like hell on the Dodgers, and we need that aspect if we're going to start scoring runs because we really struggle with runners in scoring position, as you can tell. We've struggled all through the playoffs with it, and once again we struggled again Game 1 of the World Series. We don't really take our opportunities with runners in scoring position. So the fact that Jazz Chisholm forced the issue, took those extra bases, heads up base running, saw that third was uncovered, took it, and that's freaking heads up. So that was awesome. That should have been the moment. And it was robbed of us. So, and it was just a weird call. I don't think he needed to do it. John says Aaron Boone gets the Bonehead Award. I know, man. Aaron Boone struck again. Just when I was starting to feel like Aaron Boone has turned a corner as a manager, he goes and reverts back to going and doing something dumb. And it's going to be hard to recover from it. I don't care what anyone has to say. I mean, that is a tough loss to recover from. Right. That's a good point there. Jared says Will Smith is dangerous. Yeah, I think Will Smith struggles throwing base runners out, so that's an advantage that the Yankees could take advantage of. You know, John the Beagle Dad. We need bunting and stealing. Yeah, I much prefer the Dodgers' approach throughout. They take advantage of their opportunities much better. I think 1 through 9 they have the better batting order, and they've got a comparable top 3 to the Yankees. John the Beagle Dad, okay, got to pick up a curbside order. See you on the chats when the game is on. I have to see where this is broadcasting. I am tired of not watching. So everyone want to help John the Beagle Dad out and tell him what channel it's on. Chris, Edmund arguably had 2 errors and was still king of the defense last night. That's right. He actually did make 2 misplays, but in general, he made a bunch of great plays too. So I think he still ends up being a plus for the Dodgers, man. Let's break down the coming game tonight. Game 2. Wow. Rodon. Now, Rodon has shoved for the Yankees so far in this postseason. Rodon has shoved. Can Rodon shove at least one more time for us? What's everyone's predictions in the chat? What can Rodon give us? Because it's going to be a hell of a game, man. Do you guys think, everyone in the chat, do you guys think it's a must-win for the Yankees? I don't think it's a must-win for the Dodgers. The Dodgers are in a good spot. The Yankees aren't great at home. Ohtani and Freddie Freeman are going to feast on that right field porch. I don't think they're worried about Yankee Stadium. You know? So I think that it's more a must-win game for the Yankees, down 1-0. But what's everyone's thoughts in the chat? Right. Rodon, 6 innings, 3 hits, 8 Ks. Oh, my man Jared standing on business. He is standing on business. I love that. John the Beagle Dad does believe this is a must-win game. Jared believes it's a must-win. So you guys are saying, now when I mean must-win, you're saying that if we do a podcast after game 2 and we lose, you guys are saying the series is over if we're down 2-0. Because that's what I mean by must-win. Because that's a big statement to say. John the Beagle Dad's already worried about getting swept. We won't have to worry about getting swept, man. We're going to win. We're going to win some games. This is going to be a tough series. I mean, if you're, say, predicting the Yankees in 6, predicting the Yankees in 7, that's still minimum 2 losses. So maybe it's going to be all right. Jared, it's not going to happen. Li! Salute to Li. What's Li got to say? Yankees need to get Judge off media. He's not in the right mindset for it. And Judge needs to stop having the mentality that it all has to be done on his back. You know what, bro? It's a good take. It's a good take, Li. Now, don't get too excited, but that was a really good take because that last bit is spot on. Judge needs to stop having the mentality that it all has to be done on his back. I do agree with that 1,000%. I think that he feels that he wants to represent the Yankees. I think as a captain, he wants to prove that he's a captain. He wants to prove that he's the guy. And he probably wants to prove that this October malaise that he has throughout his career is not a trend. He probably wants to prove all these things. So yeah, he does probably need to stay away from social media. Although I've not really seen him talk on it. But if he's reading the stuff, then he probably shouldn't. And he really needs to simplify his approach. That's if you guys are going to take anything away from this podcast, what I'm asking Aaron Judge to do is simplify that approach. Just learn from what those around him are doing. Gleyber Torres isn't aiming for the roof, right? He's trying to hit the other way. He's trying to get on base, trying to set the table, right? What's Soto doing? He's constantly learning. Every single pitch he takes, he's learning. He's learning. He knows exactly what's coming, when it's coming, and where it's going to go. That's a freaking baller. And Big G just goes like, it's like, I'm the freaking man. Throw it near me, I'm hitting this 450 feet. Aaron Judge needs to learn from those approaches and just relax. Let his natural talent do the talking. Chris Dudley, Dodgers are the best team in baseball against lefties. Tonight could be a tough on you guys. I always hope for a pitching duel. Well, salute, Chris. Do love having Dodger fans and really smart baseball minds like yourself to break things down for us. Will Smith is top 3 in arm strength and top 5 in throwdowns. Right. He didn't look too great against Jazz, but Jazz is really fast. So maybe Jazz just got a really good jump. But that is interesting. So yeah, let's break down this matchup. Now, Yamamoto is incredible. So What do you guys think's going to happen in this game? Can the Yankees get to Yamamoto? Yankees need to get to Yamamoto early to take the crowd out of this game. It's a good take. Yeah, Steven, he is overthinking his at-bats. How should the Yankees approach Yamamoto? Should they be aggressive and try and sit fastball? Or should he maybe would the mentality be better if they were patient and wait? So that would be my query. I think the best thing to do, considering the Dodgers really did have to use a lot of their bullpen, and they've got a bullpen game coming up because they don't have much pitching after Yamamoto, right? I think the smart call would be very patient with Yamamoto. Be patient. Lay off the breaking pitches. And D-Train agrees here. Just lay off the breaking pitches and wait for a fastball. I do agree with that, but I would certainly try and just work that count. Work that count. Work him into deep counts. Even if it's an out, as long as you work deep counts, then they're in good shape. Let's see if we can chase him out early sixth inning. That could be key, you know? If you can get that situation, and the Yankees would feel pretty good about the fact that, you know, you're getting into that bullpen, and the Dodger bullpen might get tired as the series wears on. That might be an idea. But it's going to be interesting. What's up to the upper deck, Lynn? Rodon needs to stay in a steady mindset. Len, I can send you a link if you want to hop on for a few minutes. If you got a few minutes, let me know. Upper deck, agree. Start very patiently until they get a good read on Yamo. No first pitch swings. I agree. I wouldn't swing at first pitch unless they're guaranteed to get a four-seam fastball that you could maybe get some damage done. I don't care what old school Yankee fans say and say Derek Jeter wouldn't blow off the media. Well, Jeter isn't on the 26 or 40-man roster. He doesn't matter to judge. I hope you're not disrespecting the captain. When I mean that Derek Jeter is on the. Well, I agree that he's not on the 26 or 40-man roster, obviously, but he should matter to judge. I think he should, because I don't care how good you are, you could always learn from your peers. And I'll tell you what, Derek Jeter's approach in October was as perfect as it gets. Now I know LI's, you know, of the younger generation, so he maybe didn't grow up with Derek Jeter, but Jeter's approach in October was perfect because he treated it like any at bat. He just wasn't afraid to fail, and he just had the same approach, whether it was game 1, game 162, or game 173. He had the same approach, and it worked for him all the way to the Hall of Fame. Aaron Judge could learn from that, man, because he doesn't have that same mentality in October as he does in the regular season. He just doesn't. It's quite obvious he doesn't. So I don't think there was anything wrong with learning from your peers. I think he should learn from A-Rod. My example would be A-Rod, because A-Rod's really struggled in the playoffs until 2009. Once he got that off his back, then he was a baller. So maybe you should learn from A-Rod about just how to approach things. He doesn't have to change who he is. But I think he could learn from that. No problem, Lynn. No, but he's not on the team. He's media now. Judge needs to stick to the team and the clubhouse unless him and Jeter are talking in private. That's it. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm talking about in private. I don't want him to be talking via freaking Instagram. I'm not asking him to slide into Derek Jeter's DMs or anything like that. But I don't think a conversation in private would be a bad thing. I know that the Yankees and the dynasty always picked the brain of Yogi Berra. Always picked the brain of Joe DiMaggio. And that was way back in like the 90s, early 90s. Once, you know, because it doesn't matter how good you are and how much you're winning, you can always learn from your peers. Your peers have plenty of winning experience. And I'm sorry, but Aaron Judge doesn't have that winning experience yet. All right, Drew. Good to see another one in the chat here. What's Drew got to say? There's another Dodger fan here, I believe. I know it's easy to say you guys should have won last night, but you should have. It isn't going to get any easier, to be honest, bro. Facts, absolute facts. But another thing, though, the Dodgers' strength on the rotation is really these first two dudes, and then after that, it gets a little dicey. There's going to be bullpen games, and so I think the Yankees are still in this series for sure. I think it's going to be a long series. I don't think there's much that separates these two teams. As you could see by last night, it took a walk-off grand slam. But what I will say is you cannot blow opportunities when Garrett Cole gives you 6 innings of one-run ball, and you've already had an iconic moment from Giancarlo Stanton, and you've had your guys that are playing out of their minds, and you get together a clutch lead in a big spot in the 10th inning. You can't blow that. You can't. You cannot blow that. And what worries me is that Aaron Boone panicked in a situation he didn't need to panic, and you wouldn't have seen a Joe Torre panic in that spot. You wouldn't have seen a more experienced, level-headed manager panic in that spot. Having said that, on the other other side of the coin, you could say, well, Aaron Boone doesn't have the greatest options out of the bullpen, and I can't really argue with him because who do we really trust out of that bullpen? I don't trust Clay Holmes. I love Canley's slider, and I love Canley's changeup, and I love Cousins' slider. But I think that the Dodgers sat changeup for Canley, so that's something they have to pay attention to. So the one guy that you absolutely trust is Luke Weaver for a couple of innings. And yeah, I think they should have used Tim Hill. I think Tim Hill would have probably gone out of that spot, but they're hardly Josh Hader. You know what I mean? They're not like elite bullpen arms. So I mean, I know that Aaron Boone probably doesn't have the options that say Joe Torre had when he could go to Jeff Nelson. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to match up with that Dodgers team because that Dodgers team are something else, man. They are something else. Right. What else we got to say here? Better defense, and we win last night's game. That's a great point. I have a better approach for runners in scoring position too. We really screwed up with runners in scoring position, but I do agree, D-Train. Gleyber Torres drop in the infield from the as being the cutoff man. That was ridiculous. I don't know what he was looking at. That was frustrating. Maybe Oswaldo Cabrera over diving at second. That was something too. And then Juan Soto taking the wrong route. Yeah, you wanted him to take a circular route rather than like a torpedo route. So there's definitely things that you can pinpoint. That was an issue. But you also have to bear in mind it's October. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to happen. There's going to be some misplays. There's going to be some phenomenal plays. Let's not overlook the fact that Anthony Rizzo ran into right field, his hat trailing behind him, and he makes a basket catch over his shoulder. That was a freaking amazing play. What about Verdugo diving into the stands to make an amazing play? So there was some great plays too. And there's some great plays from the Dodgers end. It was a great game. It was a classic. So that was one of my big takeaways was just the fact that it was a classic October game. In my opinion, your best hope is Dodgers hitters going flat. It has happened in the past, famously. I'd be interested, Chris. What do you think about Brian Roberts? Are you a fan of him as a manager? There's a couple of things that you could pinpoint last night that was a questionable decision, but I think his best call was actually pitching around Juan Soto and going after Aaron Judge because that was a smart call and it worked. That was one of his better decisions. Yeah, Brian, yeah, Dave Roberts. Sorry, yeah. What do you think of Roberts? What do you are you a fan of him as a manager? That'd be interesting from a Dodger fan perspective. What do you guys make of Roberts? I think Aaron Boone is pretty comparable to Roberts, but um, I think Roberts had a better night last night. I think you can safely say that. But yeah, like everyone's thoughts in the chat. What do you guys? How do you guys rate Roberts and Aaron Boone? Chris, he's been great this time, but I used to want him fired. I don't blame you because he's made some weird decisions in the past in playoff games, but it worked out for him. He had a good night. He's had actually really good playoffs. I think the way that you guys got through the Padres series was really impressive. I felt that the winner of that Padres series was going to be the team that would go to the World Series from the National League. And I thought the way that you guys absolutely tore the Mets a new asshole was A, appreciated as a Yankee fan, and B, impressive because that Met team was no joke. And they were kind of having a Cinderella run. And the Dodgers absolutely just pissed all over them. So respect, absolute respect. All right, what's Danny O'Keefe got to say? Salute to you. Not even gonna lie, I'm still sick from the loss and just don't see us winning this shit, man. I don't even want to watch the game, but I know oh, Danny, man. I got you. It's a brutal loss. It's an absolutely brutal loss. And in all honesty, I'm not quite sure how we recover from it because it was brutal. Absolutely brutal. Stephen B. Boone 4, Robertson 7. Salute to Len. Always appreciate your support. Hit the like button for Donald. Excellent one-man show. That's right. It's a one-man show. Wherever my other co-hosts are on vacay. But this man doesn't take no vacay. No man take vacay over here. Right. Let's go back to Danny's comment here. Well, Danny, I want to give you some positivity, bro. It can all change. I know that the Yankees lost Game 1 of the World Series in 2009. You know? And heck, they overcame one of the most brutal losses in the last 5 years in that Guardians series. They overcame it. So this Yankee team has shown a proclivity of being able to recover. And a lot of it comes to the mentality that exists within Juan Soto and Giancarlo Stanton, who for me are the real leaders of that locker room. I think they've got a great mentality, and I think Anthony Rizzo's a leader. And I don't think any of them are going to accept lying down. They're just not going to do it. And I think this series is going to go deep. And there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. I can promise you that. So, and this won't be our only loss. But I still think that there's plenty of baseball, and it's going to be a long series. Because I don't trust the Dodgers' rotation. After Yamamoto, I don't trust it. So I think the Yankees could have some fun in the bullpen game. So that's something that the Yankees could take advantage of. And you know, Yamamoto maybe he struggles in this big spot. You never know. It's October. Anything can freaking happen. Anything can happen. So it's definitely not over, but we're verging on must-win territory because you don't want to go down 2-0. Go to Yankee Stadium down 0-2. And with the Yankees' record at home, the new Yankee Stadium is not like the old stadium, where the old stadium just had ghosts. You know, they always say about these ghosts, and this is for the outsiders. These are for the Dodger fans all rolling their eyes right now, going, oh, here we go, the Yankee history, blah, blah, blah. But it is true. The old Yankee Stadium, it had something about it. In October, magical things frickin' happened. and I can be blessed to say I've experienced it. I've seen it all. Some of the most unlikely moments in World Series history when the Yankees were down runs to the Diamondbacks, and then with 2 outs and 2 on, we always seem to hit Kim, and then we hit these walk off home runs, and then Derek Jeter, Mister November, you know, Vasquez hitting a RBI against the Mets, Game 1 of the World Series 2000. So many moments, man. And 2009, some crazy moments from Hideki Matsui, Johnny Damon, A-Rod Jeter. Now, I will say none of those guys exist today, unfortunately. So I don't have the same faith in a lot of this lineup that I would if there was uh, say a dynasty Yankee there, like a Posada or a Jeter. But what I will say is, back to my original point, the old Yankee Stadium had the ghosts, had something about it. Magical things happened. This new stadium, as glitzy and awesome as it is, and pretty majestic to sit and take part in and enjoy watching a baseball game, it doesn't have that same feel. And it doesn't have that same home field advantage that the old stadium had. It just doesn't have it. The old stadium literally rocked to its foundations in October. You know, it literally rocked to its foundations. It shook. And it was frightening for the opposition. You know, and I know that that whatever that magic aura carried, it carried for the Yankees, man. Aaron Boone with that freaking walk off to get us to the World Series against the Marlins. Magical things freaking happened. So a little bit of it exists in the new stadium, but it's not the same, you know. And I don't think in just in terms of baseball, I don't think it's the same home field advantage for the sheer fact is that right field porch is a big threat if you've got fantastic lefty bats. And that is a thing that the Dodgers have in abundance. They have a ton of nice lefty bats. Starts with Freddie Freeman and Ohtani, you know. And I know Mookie Betts can hit to anywhere. So it's a frightening lineup. Teoscar Hernandez, ridiculous player. Frightening player. They got a lot of depth, and look at the guys that can light up that right field stand. So that's a concern. It's a concern for me. And although there was a right field porch in the old stadium too, but the atmosphere is not the same. That intimidating atmosphere was like you're in a cauldron. That fucking cauldron atmosphere was unrivaled. It's like Madison Square Garden. That's the way I could compare it. A Knick playoff game at Madison Square Garden is very similar to an old Stadium Yankee October, where it was like a cauldron. D-Train. Yeah, the old stadium was dope, man. It really was dope. It really was. It was like an experience, man. It was an experience. But I don't want to bore everybody with the glory days, but it's more just to kind of accentuate that we don't have the same home field advantage necessarily, but it still kind of exists. So it's going to be fun once we get to Yankee Stadium. It's going to be fun because I know one thing: the fans are going to show up and show out. I guarantee you that. I promise that. It's been a lot of fun actually at Yankee Stadium this year. Ton of fun. I've had a lot of fun going to Yankee Stadium this year. So it's not a criticism on the stadium or anything like that, but that magic aura doesn't exist. But the atmosphere is still freaking awesome. Oh, excuse me, Chris. Both teams are stacked. You need your Edmund, Kike, Muncy, etc. to step up more than any one player coming around. Yeah, that's a good point. Drew C. Stan is your leader of the team. Preach! The Yankee players have so much respect for that guy. I wish the Dodgers had him. Yeah, man. And guess what, Drew? Yankee fans hated him for the most part until this October, until they finally wised up. This has been the only channel, along with a spattering of others, that have always been consistently behind this guy. Not to toot my own horn, but I genuinely always believed in Stanton because I just love what he does in October. He's not scared. It's like that fucking Foo Fighters song. I'm not scared. That's Giancarlo Stanton. He ain't scared. He loves the big moment. He thrives in it, and that's my type of dude. How long is Stanton in New York? He's got a couple of years. But yeah, he's not been Mr. Popular over here because they're upset about his injury history or whatever, or the fact he can't play in the outfield, or he's not the fastest runner. I tell you guys, early in that Royals series, I think Stanton failed to run out a ground ball too fast, and that was it. All over X. Gotta cut him! Cut him now! Trade him! He's a disgrace! He's a disgrace! And I'm like, oh my God. And then next at bat, he hits a friggin' giant home run. And I'm like, yeah, what a disgrace, right? I think it's because Yankee fans don't want someone else taking the spotlight away from Judge. It's a good point. It's a good point, Drew C. I do agree that Yankee fans have a different standard on some players than others. Yankee fans are incredibly patient to homegrown Yanks. Ones brought up through the system. They have unending patience. If you come from the outside, there is added expectation and added pressure that you have to be that guy immediately. And Stanton, it was impossible for Stanton to live up to the expectations when he first got there because he was coming off an MVP as a Marlin, a 57 home run season as a Marlin, and I think he hit a home run his first at bat, but then I believe the next game he went 0 for 5 with 5 Ks and he got booed out of the fucking stadium. So, I mean, it's tough sledding. Like, it is tough sledding. But what I love about Stanton is his mentality. Because when he gets booed, which he's gotten booed quite a lot for whatever reason, he's so cool about it. He just goes, I boo myself too. I hold myself to a high standard. I got to be better. That's the mentality. He never went after the fans. He never complained. He just wanted to be a good teammate, and he has the right mentality, right approach, and I'm so glad that the fan base have started to finally warm to him. What I will say is, I think as the one outsider like Juan Soto has never had any issues. Though the Yankees have just embraced him immediately because they'd be stupid not to, because he's literally generational. But yeah, they've been really harsh with Stanton, man. Dodgers fans have patience. Still cheer Chris Taylor. There you go. D-Train, sure, and we'll take Freeman and Otani. I would love Freeman, man. I wanted us to get Freeman, actually. Before he ended up with the Dodgers, I wanted us to go get Freeman. But who wouldn't, right? But yeah, this is a fun chat. I love talking to Dodger fans, man. You guys are cool. Any other takes you guys have before we round up? Anyone else in the chat? What else have we got to talk about? You guys excited? Let's finish off with the predictions for this game. What's it going to be? Who's going to end up on top? Let's get the takes in. What's going to be the score? And who's going to be the hero? And everyone in the chat. There's almost 40 in the chat. Hit me up with the predictions, and we'll finish it off. What up, Drew? Salute, Drew. Thanks for hopping on, man. Soda loves the Bronx. He does. and we love him. Right, Chris Dudley. Rodon's out in 4. Yama goes 6. Dodgers by a lot. Oh wow, okay. I hope not. Dodgers take tonight 4-3. That's probably more what I'd expect. What I would say, you guys, I wouldn't mess around with Rodon too much. Uh, Rodon has had a really decent postseason, guys. So I mean, I know maybe you guys have a good record against him, but Rodon has had a very good postseason. Um, he's shown a decent mentality. Like, I was particularly impressed with his outing against the Guardians on the 15th of October, where he went 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, and just the 1 run given up. And then he went 5 against the Guardians, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts. So he's only got a 2.53 ERA over his last 2 starts. That's pretty damn good. So he's also, I think he's also going to be very comfortable in the environment. So I think he likes the big spot. So I think Rodon's going to be good. But what Rodon needs to do, and this is very important, he needs to mix his pitches because the Dodgers know that he is predominantly a 2-pitch pitcher. So they're going to probably try and sit fastball, lay off slider, or maybe if they see fastball, they know that he's going to go slider next. So it's quite predictable. So in order to avoid predictability for Rodon against such vicious hitters, is he needs to mix his pitches. He doesn't use his changeup much, so I think he should use his changeup more. He's been using his changeup a little better this year. Mix up that changeup. Change the eye line of the batters. Try and get them off balance and use that slider as the put away pitch because his slider is at its best when it's a put away pitch, rather than his established pitch to start off with. I much prefer using that slider as a put away. So I think Rodon's more than capable of having a big outing, and we need it. Hopefully, Rodon gave us 6 innings of 2-run ball. I hope Judge's bat wakes up. Also, he needs to get big. He needs to get it big. Hopefully, Rodon gives us 6 innings of 2-run ball. I hope Judge's bat wakes up. Also, he needs to get a big what? Big night? Big day? All right. Chris Dudley. Soto's wife hates New York. I've never heard anything of that. From what I understand, Soto absolutely loves New York. He loves the Bronx. And he loves playing in front of the crowd. And he loves the interactions in right field. So I really don't think he's paying attention to anything else. I think he loves being there, but it's up to the Yankees to pay the man. I have a feeling both Ohtani and Judge are having a great game. Dude, you're standing on business there because Judge hasn't had a great game yet. So we're still waiting. So, Jose, if you're right, that would be much appreciated. Soto loves the Guggenheim money in LA, my bet. Well, where's he going to go? He's not going to the Dodgers. Where's he going to go? San Francisco? He's not going to go to San Francisco. Los Angeles? Anaheim? No one goes to Anaheim. Not even Anaheim. Not even Ohtani wanted to be in Anaheim. He left. I don't know where else Soto's gonna go, bro. I think his best shot is a Yankee, but I know the Mets will still be in the hunt. Because he loves being in a community with his people. Exactly. So one thing, there's a ton of Dominicans in the Bronx that just have adored this man. And I'm not Dominican, and I adore that man. I love Juan Soto. Pay him whatever. $1 billion. $1 billion. For any Met fans working here, he is not going to Flushing. Nah, I don't think he's going to go to Flushing either. Chris, do you honestly think, that Juan Soto is going to go to the Dodgers? Well, dude, your payroll's already insane as it is. Are you expecting that too? Freeman's contract plus Otani's plus Yamamoto's, and then add Soto's for a $700 million contract? I don't see it. Jose doesn't like the way Soto stares down the pitchers or that shuffle of his. Well, that's interesting because I love it. And I think Yankee fans love it. And I think any fan of Juan Soto loves it. Because a little teaching moment, Jose. That's Soto telling and communicating to the pitcher that he knows exactly what's coming. For me, that's a baller move. I love that. You know? He's standing on business. When Soto's at the plate, it's like his office. Like he knows the strike zone better than anyone. He knows it better than the umpire, and he tells the umpire what the balls and strikes are. And he's very comfortable there, man. So when you see him do the shuffle, it's not out of arrogance. The shuffle is out of confidence. That shuffle means that he's seeing what's coming. That shuffle means that he's feeling confident, and he's ready for the next pitch. When he's nodding at the pitcher, sometimes he's actually nodding at them because, hey, that was a really good pitch, but keep coming because I got you. Like that at bat that Soto hit that 3-run home run in the ALCS against the Guardians was one of the great postseason at bats because he stared down, he nodded, he did the shuffle, but all of that was because he was learning what was coming, man. He was fouling off the changeups of that at bat. Go watch it. There's no hyperbole here. I'm a very even fan. I call it from both sides. But in terms of Soto, man, that at bat, he was fouling off changeup, and then he was nodding because he's like, I got this. There's nothing that he could throw that's going to surprise me. So he was just sitting waiting fastball. He's like, give me just one fastball. One fastball is all I need. He got that fastball, and bingo. History. That's what he does. Marvin. Good to see Marvin in the chat. We love this. Love to see new people in the chat. Hit the like button, hit the sub button. We love that. Marvin, Dodgers were scared to pitch to Soto, and that is facts. Absolutely facts. They were. And they should be, because for me, he's the best hitter in the lineup, and that includes Aaron Judge. Juan Soto is a better hitter than Aaron Judge. He is. He might not have the power, but for me, he's a better hitter because he's constantly learning. I've never seen anyone with that approach at the plate where every pitch is like he's downloading the information. He already knows the spin rate and the and all that shit, and he's able to diagnose what's coming, when it's coming, within a split second. It's freaking insane. Everyone's not dumb. Everyone not dumb. Scared to pitch to Soto. Yeah, well, they should be scared to pitch to Soto. And that was the right call from Dave Roberts. Pitcher and Soto. Have Aaron Judge prove that he can hit in October. So really, the key to this World Series for the Yankees' perspective is Aaron Judge. And it's from the Dodgers' perspective too. If they can get Aaron Judge out, they'll win the World Series, the Dodgers. I'm saying that right now. Absolutely bank this. If Aaron Judge struggles to hit for the rest of this series, the Los Angeles Dodgers are World Series champions. That's a fact. However, if Aaron Judge has his moment and he recovers from game one and he actually is productive and he hits a couple of RBIs and he gets on base and has like an 800 OPS in the World Series, the Yankees will win the World Series. Because I believe he is the key. Because the whole lineup is kind of asking for Aaron Judge to do something. Because we don't have the depth in the lineup that the Dodgers do. We're top heavy. We're asking Torres to set the table. We're asking Soto to deliver, which he often does. And Big G is just big fucking G, right? But the key to all that is who's hitting in between those two, and that's Aaron Judge. He has got to get something going here. Because if they're going to pitch around Soto, say walk Soto, to pitch to Aaron Judge has to start driving in some runs. Or at minimum, get on base for Stanton to deliver. But he has to do something. If he continues to be a black hole in the middle of the order, this Yankee team ain't doing nothing. No matter how many moments where Giancarlo Stanton becomes the Incredible Hulk. I was saying Stanton's more muscular than the Hulk. He freaking is, man. Dodgers can give us a little more. Yeah, exactly. They're not afraid. Even a 2-run home run to Stanton, they're not all that afraid because they can come back. This is the big difference between, this series and the Guardians and the Royals series, because they didn't have the depth that the Dodgers have. Right. Stanton is not leaving the series without tying or surpassing Mantle's franchise record of 18 postseason home runs. Len, that would be amazing. But I mean, it's been such a special postseason. Even if Stanton doesn't hit another home run the rest of the way, he's had an unbelievable postseason. It's been one of the finest I've ever seen. What's Jonathan got to say? Yankees need to win tonight. No dumb mistakes. Stanton is at 17 now. That's insane. You guys can believe that? 17 home runs? That dude does not get enough respect. He doesn't get enough respect. What about Ron Darling in the previous? What about Bob Costas in the Royal Series? He just basically talked to him like he was a geriatric. Oh, he can't run. He's finished. He can't walk. He can't play the outfield. He's having this incredible October, and you're just criticizing the man. What the fuck? George likes to swing at a lot of bad pitches. Exactly. And that's been very frustrating because he's also not just swinging at bad pitches, but he's missing pitches that he normally deposits. Because there were pitches that he could have hit last night, Jose. There were a couple of hangers in there that he was getting under. It was very frustrating. But we do appreciate everyone in the chat. Lots of people in the chat, so a lot of new people, a lot of new faces. We appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying the content. Mantle hit all his home runs in the World Series, so it's a different record. For sure. I think what Stanton's doing, we got to see how the rest of this plays out, but what Stanton's doing is historic, and it should be worth whatever happens. Win or lose this World Series, I think Stanton deserves to go to Monument Park for this playoffs alone. It's been crazy. This is a league now which is very much catered on great pitching. Offense is down around the league for the most part this year. Obviously, apart from teams like the Dodgers and stuff, but for the most part, great pitching beats good hitting, especially in October. But that's not the case for Stanton. He's facing great pitching, and he's depositing great pitching into the stands 17 times. Ohtani and Judge racked up most of their home runs off of middling pitchers. Dodgers have 3 good starters and the best bullpen in baseball. Yeah. The way I would categorize it is, I think you guys have more depth in the lineup, and your top 3 hitters are kind of a wash with ours. You can argue either way, really. But we've got the stronger rotation, we've got the deeper rotation than you guys, but you guys have the better bullpen by far. And infield defense, the Yankees have struggled with their infield defense all all season long. So that's a possible advantage for you guys too. If you continue to make contact, uh, we kind of struggle in these spots. So that's another aspect. But it's going to be a hell of a series, and I'm not thinking the series is over after game one by any stretch of the imagination. But there are things that need to be tidied up a little bit. But my big takeaway is the fact that I really do believe that Aaron Boone cost the Yankees game one. And I don't take much pride in saying it because I have to say I think Aaron Boone has managed a very decent postseason to this point. I think he has. I think he's managed a very solid postseason. I've never been a big fan of his, but I think he changed things up a little bit this October, and he's tended to make the right call. He really has, and he's certainly been a part of quite an awesome run. But he mismanaged Game One of the World Series, and if you're if you're a Yankee fan, that's the standards that we set. If you're not doing the job in the World Series, then he ain't none. So he's got to step up. He's got to improve. He needs to stop panicking. Don't panic. You panic if a good pitcher is having a bad game. You don't panic if your pitcher's having a good game. And that's what frightened me because it sets a bad precedent. And that's exactly what Derek Jeter basically said. It was a knock-on effect. When you take Garrett Cole out early, it just had a knock-on effect because we just don't have the bullpen depth that we can go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers with that bullpen over a course of, 5 innings? Not with that bullpen. 2 innings? 3 innings? Max? Yeah. I wouldn't stretch him much beyond that. So, Aaron Boone needs to manage better. He really does. That's Marvin got to say. I just hope if Rodon is having a good game, Boone don't pull him too early. Yeah, exactly. Don't panic. If he's having a good game, just don't panic. You certainly don't take Garrett Cole out after 88 pitches. That just was crazy to me. That's not something you do. That didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Crystal, we have Rojas tonight in the infield, but he hits lefties like a pinata. I'll pay attention to that. Chris, likely you'll get our B team bullpen in Game 3. Start a rookie. I do think that if the Yankees are to, I think for me, the Yankees must win in Game 3. They cannot lose Game 3. Game 3 is the absolute game you cannot lose, especially in this series. If the Yankees lose the bullpen game, then I think we're cooked. You cannot lose the bullpen game. That's the one game that the Yankees really have a big, clear advantage. So they can't afford to lose Game 3. Especially if you lose Game 2 and then go down Game 3, then it's over anyway. So there's a lot of pressure on this Yankee team. Exactly. You can't lose Game 3 at Yankee Stadium in a bullpen game that the Dodgers are throwing out. Game 3 in our house. And it will be rocking. It will be rocking. Yankee fans have been waiting for a long time. I know we all have. Everyone in the chat, all the Yankee fans in the chat, all my co-hosts, my family, we've waited a long time. It's been a long, long time. It's been 15 years for me. I was, let's see, how old was I? And I'm 40 in December, so 25. It was 25 when the Yankees last made the World Series. The Bronx Zoo, yeah, it will. It will. Is anyone in the chat going to a Yankee game or a World Series game for that matter? Are anyone in the chat going to any of these World Series games, or are you guys going to go to Billy's at Yankee Stadium, or a bar that's similar to that in LA? Are you guys going to do that stuff? How are you guys going to be celebrating this World Series? Lynn was 103 years old. Damn, you're doing pretty well, and you're looking great. Jonathan tickets man. I know, bro. It was like $2,000. I was looking. I was tempted. Like $2,000 to sit in right field. I ain't doing that. I love the Yankees, but $2,000 is fucking a lot. Chris says last night, yeah, 3K. That's pretty much average. I think it's the same price as Yankee Stadium because it was like 2K is like the cheapest. Parade down Broadway. That's how we will be celebrating. I would be tempted to go to the ticker tape parade if the Yankees were to do it. But it's crazy prices, man. It's a shame. 3K for a World Series game. That's a shame, man. It's priced out a lot of people. You know, there should be a price cap for like the bleachers. You know what I'm saying? I have to. I love that, Lynn. I do. I have to. We'll have to meet up. Absolute facts. We have to meet up for that. Jonathan's correcting Lynn. It's on Fifth Avenue, not Broadway. All right, Jonathan. We get it. It's ticket tape parade, whatever. It will be special. It will be special. It's been a long time. Been waiting a long time to bring a championship to the city. So that'd be really cool if it happens. But we've got a long, long way to go. And Lynn is correcting Jonathan. We love this. This is who had this? Who had this debate? No, Jonathan, on Broadway and it ends at City Hall. It is facts that it ends at City Hall. That is absolutely a fact that it ends at City Hall. The Liberty just had one. Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. Salute to the Liberty. Good to have our ladies win the championship for the city. That was awesome. All right. Jonathan says he's thinking of the St. Patrick's Day parade. Yeah, it ends at City Hall, man. I think I went to the last parade in New York I went to was when the U.S. women's soccer team won. I think it was the World Cup, and I was in town for that. And but I was always like one step behind, so I was always just missing them. my my navigation skills were not great. And then once I got to City Hall, they just finished. So I was always just one step behind. But I could kind of see it. There was a lot of fun. Same percentage of drunk people at John. That's facts. Absolute facts. That'd be awesome. That'd be a great thing to experience, but boy, it's gonna be hard to recover from game one. So I don't want to talk about parades just yet. We got a long way to go. Long way to go. At the moment, the Dodgers are the favorites for this. And it's hard to argue with that after the way game one went down. It's very hard to recover from a walk-off grand slam. So there's going to be pressure on Rodon. Let's see how he handles it. When there's nothing like it. Facts. LA Parade going to be crazy. We are owed one after COVID. Yeah, that time sucked. An LA Parade would be pretty cool, I'm sure. Have you been to an LA Parade, Chris? New Year's Eve is worse. I've done the New Year's Eve thing. I did it once. I think I basically had to just stand in the and watch the ball drop. But it took me, yeah, basically I had to stand in one spot for about 7 hours. I think I had to get to where I had to get to by like 5 p.m. or they close you out. So I was there, and you had to stand for like 7 fucking hours, man. What do? Pee yourself? Like, it was fucking hard. That wasn't as enjoyable, but it was cool to say you did it. It was very cool to say you did it. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Lynn. But I always like to do things once and to try things out, and so I did it once. Never do it again. But at least I can say that I did it and survived. Uh, it was a lot of fun. It was just basically have to survive holding in your piss for 7 hours. There's not too much. um, yeah, no, I don't. I ain't doing that. Maybe you do that because you're 113 years old, apparently. I'm kidding. Tony Special Need. What up, Tony? Good to see Tony in the chat. props, props to you, Tony. How are you? Oh man, it's been good to share. I think we needed a laugh. We needed some levity after that situation. Walk off grand slamming, too good for everyone's nerves. I'm sure. Salute, Tony. Thanks for joining, man. I was checking in with our co-host Rob. He's watching in Orlando. Uh, I think he's like an Airbnb with his buddy, and there's like a big. I think he's in a room, like it might be a girl's room that he's had to stay in because there's like a big Frozen poster on his wall. So he's not feeling too manly, and then he had to watch. The Yankees collapse in the 10th inning. It can't be too good. Um, so I hope my brother's holding up over there. Uncle T, I believe Uncle T is on vacation. He's doing family time, but we saw his reaction vid. He seemed pretty cool and collected. I thought he'd be in a much worse state because of the nature of that game. That game was just freaking insane. So, right, all right, I subbed. I'll try to be back for my lumps or to enjoy New York Tears beer if I see your post game show. Asta, salute, brother. Thanks so much. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. Really do appreciate the interaction. It was very, very cool to talk to you. Thank you so much. Tony, we have the Yankees to win the World Series. That's awesome. Now, Tony, are you a Yankee fan or are you a Dodger fan? Let me know. Jonathan says this is going 6 or 7 games. I completely agree. That's 100% where I'm going with this too. I think it's going to go 6 or 7 games too. Cortes over chicken Big Macs all day long. No argument. I don't do any of that Big Mac shit. So you're right, Jonathan. I agree. It's going to go 6 or 7 games. This is going to be a long series. The Yankees have to win Game 3 if they stand a chance. You're a Yankee fan. Good to see you in the chat, brother. Thank you so much for hopping in the chat. How did you deal with yesterday? What did you think? Did you think that Aaron Boone blew the game, or were you content with Nestor Cortes? From my perspective, I thought like I could kind of see the rationale with Cortes facing Otani, but as I say, in Manfred ball, there's no more specialist relievers. There's no one more. There's no more one guy getting just to face one batter. I just didn't trust Cortes to face 3. Not in that spot. Not with his lack of stuff. I thought that was a huge mistake, and it cost this game 1. That's where I'm at with it. So how the Yankees recover is going to be key. Jonathan says the infield defense blew the game. Okay. What particular aspect would you say? I would say for sure when Torres dropped that relay, uh, the throw from Soto from the outfield, and he dropped it for whatever bizarre reason. That was definitely one, and maybe Oswaldo Cabrera kind of over diving at second. I can kind of see that too. Um, but Jazz made some plays at third. Rizzo made a great play over his shoulder. So there was some good plays too. Even Volpe did okay. Made a couple of nice, solid plays too. So I don't think the infield defense was as bad. The Yankees' defense in general was just spotty. Error by Torres. Yeah, I mean, that was that drop. It was bizarre. It was like a Chuck Knobloch moment. Jazz mastered these bases with those steals. It was awesome. Salute. Thanks for hopping in the chat. We appreciate it. No, I mean, I don't disagree, Jonathan. It's just because Torres has had such a good playoffs. I don't want to be overly critical of him. I spent a good portion of the regular season being critical of him. So this guy has really stepped up in October. So I don't want to overly kill him for it. But it was a Chuck Knobloch moment. I don't know why he was just kind of looking in the sky when the ball was on the ground. Go pick it up. So that was brutal. Tony's doing a Yankee live stream tonight. That's awesome. Send your details so we can know where to check it out. But that's cool. The lineup is in, right, Len? Give me the lineup, baby, and that's how we're gonna sign off. I've been going to town with this, bro. Almost 2 hours by myself. Now that's a freaking baller right here. No vacay over here. This is the World Series, not spring training. It has to be. Yeah, you're probably right, man. But I'm trying to be optimistic. We made it to the World Series, bro. I'm trying to stay positive. All right, let's have a look and see this. Let's see what this lineup is. I've just seen what Nestor Cortes said. Nestor Cortes said he was ready since the fourth inning. No, you weren't. All right, so we got the Yankees lineup. Let's go. We have Torres at second base leading off. Soto in right field, batting second. Aaron Judge in center, batting third. Cleaning up, the serious hombre, the G-Force. Big G Stanton at DH. Batting fifth, Smooth Jazz Chisholm at third base. Batting sixth, Anthony Rizzo. Playing first base. Batting seventh, Anthony Volpe. Playing short. Batting eighth, Austin Wells. Catching. Batting ninth, Alex Verdugo in left field. So no changes there. Let's have a look and see what the Dodgers have got in store. Starting lineup for the Los Angeles Dodgers is DH Ohtani, Shohei Ohtani, the monster, the National League MVP, the beast, leading off. Then you got Mookie Betts, another absolute animal, batting right, batting second in right field. Third, they're going Teoscar Hernandez, changing things up a little bit. He's batting third and in left field. That's a good call. That's an interesting call. Freeman is cleaning up, batting first. Tommy Edman in center field. Interesting. Kike Hernandez is going to be at second. Max Muncy, third base, batting seventh. Smith is catching, and Rojas is batting ninth. And the lineup that they will face will be the starters of Rodon, who's 1-1 with a 4.40 ERA, and Yamamoto 1-0, 5.11 ERA. So that is the lineups, guys. That is the lineups. Same as last night. Yeah, we're not making any changes. It's probably the right call. I think it's probably the right call for sure. Don't have any argument there. More interested in the Dodgers lineup. That is interesting. Go with Rojas short. Edmund playing center field is interesting. Teoscar Hernandez in left field, batting third, with Freddie Freeman cleaning up. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. So, well, listen, there's no messing around. The Yankees have to step up. Let's see if they do it. So that will be it for today's show. We really appreciate having new people in the chat, interacting with everyone. Just a good opportunity to have a good chat about what we witnessed. It was a heck of a game. It was a classic. I don't care if you're a Yankee fan, Dodger fan, that was a classic. It's one of the great baseball games. Obviously, it hurts because we were Yankee fans, but as baseball fans, it was a great game. But it won't matter if the Yankees don't win the World Series. That's for freaking sure. So let's see how they recover. I really don't want the storyline to be how Aaron Boone cost us the World Series, because that will be the storyline if the Yankees don't win, because they will look at this game one and we'll look at that Cortes call. That can't happen. And finally, Aaron Judge, he needs to step up. You're the captain. Prove it. Prove it. It's on your shoulders, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just simplify your approach. Shorten your swing. Do what you need to do. Do what your teammates are doing. Everyone else seems to be doing it, but you ain't. So do it. And finally, Rodon, shove, bro. Shove. We need you. So once again, everyone, we've had tons of people in the chat, so we do really appreciate it. Really appreciate the different perspective from Dodger fans. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Hope Yankee fans enjoyed the content. And we will provide another podcast very, very soon to discuss Game 2. I'm sure I'll have some, maybe I'll have some co-hosts that can share the load with me. Salute to Lynn. Really do appreciate that she took the time to watch. And love you, Lynn. And everyone, check out the Upper Deck show. She'll be doing a show tomorrow with Ciara. That's going to be great. Absolutely. Guys, must watch that show. I watched their episode last week. Great. Absolutely great. So salute to them. They're doing some really good work there on that pod, which we're very proud to have on our channel. So you guys got to check that out. And as Uncle Tats likes to say, wherever he is, probably traveling in the car somewhere, but he likes to say, wear those pinstripes with pride and play hard. Salute, everyone. Enjoy the game.